So in this video I'm going to continue with a loop more that we're going to be looking into, and this one is called a for loop. So again, I'm just going to delete the last part I did with the each and start with a new one. A for loop is similar to an each, but the amount of iterations is not, in our case, in this case I'm going to show you, it's not dragging information from a map. We can just use numbers to iterate as many times as we want. For this to work, of course, I need to type in my hashtag, I'm going to say hashtag, my @, and I'm going to do for. A for loop, again, is based on numbers mainly, so we're going to use something called a variable I, which is, I can't remember, I think the I is for integer, which is basically another meaning for a number. So what I just said was integer, and it's used in math, at least in English worded math, just means a number. So we're going to start our loop, our for loop from I, which is from 1 in our case, so it's going to start from the number 1 in this case, and then we're going to loop it through. So I'm just going to write through like this, 4. So we're going to have a loop 1, 2, 3, and 4, so 4 in total in this case. That's all we're going to do in this case. So loop 1, 2, 3, 4, and what we wanted to do, we wanted to print out some CSS code for, in our case, a class called box. So just like I did before, almost like I did before, I just add a HTML CSS tag or HTML block it's going to print code to, and we did some of this in the first semester where we did box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. And I'm just going to create something similar to this now. So as in the previous loop, I used this hashtag to put in something. And I'm going to do the same here. So hashtag and then curly brackets, and I'm going to put in my, if I hit it right, yes, there we go. I'm going to put in my variable I, which is the number from up here. So this variable will change for each loop. So for loop 1, 1, loop 2, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and so many, and so on and so on. And this here is what, oh sorry, I just need to tell you what I did. I just stopped this here. This is to print out the actual name for each selector in the CSS. Here I'm just creating two more, another curly brackets, and in this one I'm going to write the CSS. So in this case I just want to add color, red, or something like this. So if I click save and I go to my CSS, I should have 4 different styles, one for box 1, 2, 3, so dot box dash 1, dot box dash 2, and so on. So you can see them here. Actually, it was highlighted for some reason. Those are the 4 it just printed for me. I don't have to do this one by one. So if I had 9 boxes, I had to do it 9 times and so on, blah blah blah. The cool thing here, you don't have to, you can actually add, if I had a mixin in this one, I will later on, I could put a mixin in here. So I could do the @include, if I could spell. So if I had a mixin called tallyhoo, like this, I could put this in here, or I could put in whatever I'm going to do. But the thing about this is we can create loops for a number of iterations. I'm just going to put this back like this, so it makes sense, hopefully a little sense. So it goes from numbers 1 to 4, in this case, or to 10. So if I do 10, we have 10 things here. We can also use, if I had the array that I did just deleted, if we, for example, had the, I'm just going to quickly create this again, if it doesn't take too long. So I have a map called, it's going to be called map now, like this. End this please, and then we have the h3 something something, we have the h4 something else, and it needs to be gone like this. So now we have 2 items in this one. So instead of having the number 10, we can actually tell it to do length, and then we just put in the map here. So length will convert the items that we used before in our each loop, so it will convert the number of those into, so the amount of those into a number. So in this case it should convert it into 2. So when I go back, there should be 2 boxes here, so 1 and 2, because I just made it count how many times it can go in iterations. So we start from 1, and we go through the number that is. So if I change here, I wanted to go start from 4, it's going to start 4 and 5. And it just went the other way, but I don't know why it just went the other way actually. That's weird. But that's a way to actually start looking at your at these for loops and to do cool stuff with those as well. We're going to be using that going forward as well.